On this episode of Hitch Hiking with the Harveys, my cousin James, Nelson, and Monty and I take you to beautiful Blarney Castle and the gorgeous grounds that it has. It's stunning. There's also some cool dungeons to check out. And of course, we kiss the Blarney Stone, the gift of the gab. Like any of us really need more of that. So come hitch a ride with us as we share with you part 2 of our epic Ireland adventure. Located in Cork, Ireland, Blarney Castle is a medieval stronghold in Blarney. Since its construction in 1446, there's been many events that have happened, such as Desmond Rebellions, Irish Rebellion of 1641, the Irish Confederate Wars, Williamite War in Ireland. There's been a lot going on. But of course, the biggest reason we're here is to kiss the Blarney Stone, but on our way up, we noticed there were some dungeons that we had to check out and share with you how dark and creepy it is. So come along with us, we're going to show you how not to hit your head, right James? Known to contain the castle well, which had to be protected but kept accessible even if the tower was under siege. It's also the entrance to a labyrinth of hidden underground passages and chambers.
That didn't sound good at all.
No.
As if my cousin James needed any more concussions. He's tall, so, short cave, tall guy, bonk, ouch. Sorry, James. With over 400,000 visitors a year, Blarney Castle is the most visited castle in Ireland. Most also visit and ultimately kiss the famous Blarney Stone. You even walk by a murder hole, which is exactly how it sounds. Even in the off-season, we were here in mid-March, the lineup to kiss the Blarney Stone was about an hour and a bit, so prepare yourselves if you come in a busy season. According to legend, kissing the stone endows the kisser with the gift of the gab, or a great eloquence or skill of flattery. The stone was set into a tower of the castle in 1446. We all did it. Unfortunately, Mr. Nelson forgot to capture my evidence of kissing the Blarney Stone. With a generous 60 acres, the grounds of Blarney Castle boasts various gardens and avenues, which are constantly changing and evolving throughout the seasons. Normally this is full of roses. It's considered the tunnel of scent, maybe not during the time of year we were there, but it would be beautiful in the summer.
The Blarney Witch has taken firewood from our estate for her kitchen. In return, she must grant our visitors wishes. You can walk down and back up the steps with your eyes closed. Some suggest walking backwards and without one moment thinking of anything other than a wish. Then that wish will come true within a year.
This is highly recommended on all of our lists to come to. I definitely would spend an entire day here if you had the time. Of course, we had 1,000 things to do that day, so we only spent a few hours, but off we go to the next adventure.
So here we are in Kilarney National Park. We're stopping at a trail for a waterfall. It's only 200 yards or 200 meters from the car park to this waterfall.
Kilarney National Park covers an area of over 26,000 acres, incorporating lakes, woodlands, waterfalls, and buildings. It's stunning. It kind of reminded us all of Vancouver Island, but we knew we were definitely in the land of the green.
Well, that's bigger than I thought it was going to be.
A nice break from the car to get out and stretch your legs. Highly recommend. Along the Ring of Kerry, there are numerous stops that you can just pull over if you feel like stretching your legs. And this is one of them. I have no idea exactly the name of this place. All three of us took a few moments to kind of like take it all in, and it was gorgeous, peaceful, super quiet. We were the only ones there. After some tranquility, we hopped back in the car, continued on our way along the Ring of Kerry, and stumbled across this little church. And then Nelson had to go on an adventure.
Well, I don't know what it is. Somebody's lake house. It's been long abandoned. But it's pretty cool. And it would have had a heck of a view. It says private property, no trespassing. Let's see if we can take a look. Wonder why she was abandoned. Oh, that's pretty cool. Because it's abandoned, there's no real information hanging around, no plaques or anything like that. But pretty sweet views. Somebody put a lot of love and time into this. It's quite the shame. Yeah, look at that view. Unbelievable. It's one of the things I love about Europe in general. There's just so much abandoned stuff just hanging around. Wonder if this was from one of those one of the fallouts from the potato famine. Oh, it's amazing. This is the backyard. Look at that. Growing right out of the rock. That's been doing that for a long time too. Oh, it's super awesome. It's one of those rules in life. If you don't take the chance, you don't get the reward.
We hopped in the car and kept driving again to our next destination. And of course, while you're getting to your next destination, you stop anywhere you want. And here we just pull over, take a look, have some lunch, and enjoy.
Sitting down, having some lunch on the Ring of Kerry. Very cool. I don't know how well this comes out on the camera, but there's an amazing beach, like right there.
We stumble upon the Kerry International Dark Sky Reserve, which is actually one of the darkest places on Earth with minimal light pollution. So it's the only gold tier reserve in the Northern Hemisphere. This is a designation that allows for exceptional stargazing opportunities, including viewing the Milky Way, stars, and even the aurora. Unfortunately, we were only there during the day.
So here we are in Waterville. And this is the Heritage Trail. And it is bloody brilliant out right now. We're just in the Mick O'Dwyer pub. And this is Mick O'Dwyer, at least a statue of him. Down in the Mick O'Dwyer Public House.
They buried a time capsule in July 10th, 1999, and they opened it July 10th, 2020.
Oh my god.
I'm curious to know what they actually put in there. Hopefully not fish and chips. Maybe a Guinness.
Yeah. The millennium, I don't think 20 years is a long time. For the man who made the movies speak in the heart of millions, Charlie spent many years in our midst as a welcome and humble guest and friend to many.
Charlie Chaplin and his family visited the town as a favored holiday spot, FYI. And total population as of 2022 was 555. Wow. Hopped in the car again to our next destination, which was to the Kerry Cliffs, also known as Kerry's most spectacular cliffs. And spectacular they are. Between this and the Cliffs of Moher, which are more popular, we actually like this one better. I know, crazy, but it was amazing. Also, the weather played a big part for this too. The cliffs stand over 1,000 feet above the wild Atlantic and were formed in a desert environment 400 million years ago.
So the great part about being here in March is we lucked out on the weather today, like massively lucked out, and there's practically nobody here. Some islands, I don't know if you guys can even see them out there, that some monks in the 6th century thought it was a great idea to row out there and, you know, build some austere places and just get away from it all. Good place, a good place to do it. You wanted to get away from it all.
We seriously lucked out on the weather because it was March and you never know. We would highly recommend coming here. We headed back into the car and drove a little bit and found ourselves at Valentia Island's lighthouse.
Valentia Island Lighthouse.
Built in 1653 to guard the entrance of Valentia Harbor, this is Valentia Island Lighthouse, which sits on the site of a 17th century fort known as Fleetwood Fort.
Now remember, if you touch it, Kim, it will send you back 200 years in time, but you'll lose your diamond.
It is believed that this standing stone spans from 2000 BC to 500 BC. Standing stones like this were used for a variety of purposes, often with both practical and ceremonial functions. They were erected for marking locations, serving as part of burial practices, and potentially for religious and astronomical observations.
Powder magazine.
A powder magazine.
These powder magazines were built with one main purpose: to safely store gunpowder. Naturally, gunpowder is volatile and an explosion could be destructive and deadly. Built in 1910, this housed the lighthouse keeper and his family until the lighthouse was automated in 1949. The last lightkeeper, Harry Stanningforth, his wife Margaret, and his 2 daughters, Geraldine and Margaret, were the last residents of this house until the house was automated in 1947. The name Valentia Island comes from the Irish, with the island itself being known as Oak Island. While we were here, we actually bumped into a gentleman who was there working, but he also does something pretty cool. He guided us to our next stop, which is the 8th wonder of the world, known as the Transatlantic Cable Museum. This, my friends, was nothing any of us had heard of, and we were so happy to have come here.
In America, Samuel Morse and Alfred Vail had developed a new single-wire system for sending telegrams, using the dits and das of what became known as Morse code. With information traveling at a speed never before imagined over land, it was inevitable that people would start to wonder, if you could make a cable long enough, could you connect America with Europe, the new world with the old? The idea now being openly discussed of linking America to Europe with an enormous transatlantic cable grabbed his imagination. In 1854, he started looking for the shortest route across the Atlantic and settled on Newfoundland to Ireland. But where exactly in Ireland? Enter Sir Peter Fitzgerald, 19th Knight of Kerry, otherwise known as the Green Knight. Well, maybe not like that. The first attempt was made on August 7, 1857, using two boats, HMS Agamemnon and USS Niagara. The cable broke on the first day. They made repairs and started again, and it broke again, this time at a depth of over 3,000 meters, too deep to fix anything. The second attempt was made a year later on June 10, 1858. HMS Agamemnon and USS Niagara set out again, each carrying part of the cable. And then the cable breaks, repeatedly. A month later, on July 17th, they set out once more. This time they succeed. It lasted just 3 weeks. It was back to the drawing board, literally. They needed a new cable, new money, and most of all, they needed a new boat. A bigger boat. The biggest boat. 6 times larger than any other ship afloat, the Great Eastern could carry 4,000 passengers from Britain to Australia without refueling, and it could carry the entire 4,000 kilometers of cable now deemed necessary to bridge the Atlantic all by itself. On July 22nd, 1865, they set out once more from Valentia on the biggest boat in the world, with all the cable they needed in one place. It lays nearly 2,000 kilometers of cable, is well on its way to Newfoundland, and then, well, you can probably guess what happened next. At this stage, a lesser man might have given up, but not Cyrus W. Field. On July 13th, 1866, the Great Eastern sets out again, and this time it reaches Newfoundland. On July 27th, with the cable intact, the first telegrams are transmitted the next day. It had taken 5 attempts and 9 years to make a successful connection, and cost about £7 million at the time.
Wow.
Nearly €1 billion today. But it had done what many thought impossible. It had wired the world. It was the birth of global communication, and in many ways, the birth of the internet. And it happened right here.
We were so happy that this gentleman, we bumped into him at the lighthouse and he's showing us all about this museum, and we actually bumped into him at the museum as well. 100% recommend, especially if you're Canadian, of course, because what another bond between Ireland and Canada. This little chart here was live. He reset the button. It's the internet. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. It's crazy. We spent the night in Kilarney and wandered around and saw this beautiful church, took some photographs. That was our little trip, and this is part 2 of our trip to Ireland. Here's a little look at part 3. We go to Ross Castle, and we also check out the absolutely stunning Kilarney Abbey. We also check out the neo-Gothic church, which is considered the cathedral in miniature on Kilarney Abbey's property. We also check out the Cliffs of Moher. We pull over and check out some of these portal tombs, which kind of remind me of the Outlander. If you know, you know. We visit the Caherconnell Geopark site. We also pull over to check out Clare Abbey, a ruined Augustinian monastery located near the town of Innis. We couldn't come all this way to Ireland without visiting Giant's Causeway. These are amazing basalt columns. They're stunning, eerie, and really cool. We find ourselves in Northern Ireland in the town of Londonderry or Derry. Very significant location. Then we were looking for our friend's castle. Yeah, O'Rourke Castle. Derek, this is for you. We drove, what, 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours yet.
To see your castle, and wait till you see it. Your humble abode. It is very humble. Thank you very much for watching part 2 of our epic trip in Ireland, and we hope that you will join us for part 3 and loads of other great locations. Thanks so much, you guys, for hitching a ride with us. Until next time.